The air shimmered above the whispering woods, thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. But beneath the surface of idyllic tranquility, a simmering tension brewed. It wasn't the rustle of leaves betraying a lurking predator, nor the distant rumble of an approaching storm. It was Hare. Bartholomew Hare, to be precise. And Bartholomew, as usual, was making a spectacle of himself. Perched atop a sun-baked boulder, Bartholomew beat his chest with theatrical flair. Sunlight glinted off his sleek fur as he addressed the assembled creatures, his voice dripping with arrogant self-satisfaction. Behold, witness the unparalleled speed of Bartholomew Hare. I am the wind incarnate, the blur of motion. Well, you get the picture. I'm fast. Really, really fast. Faster than any of you pathetic slowpokes could ever dream of being. A collective sigh rippled through the crowd. They knew this routine. Oh, how they knew it. Fiona Fox rolled her eyes, stifling a yawn. Barnaby Badger grumbled under his breath, adjusting his spectacles. Even Reginald Robin, usually a font of cheerful optimism, chirped a weary "Here we go again." Bartholomew, however, was in full swing, oblivious to the audience's collective ennui. He launched into a dizzying display of boasts, claiming he could outrun a falling star, outpace the sunrise, even beat a hummingbird in a flapping contest, a particularly dubious claim. Given his lack of wings, he hopped and twirled, a whirlwind of fur and exaggerated pronouncements. I could reach the Crystal Falls and be back before Beatrice Butterfly even finishes her afternoon tea, he declared, striking a dramatic pose. A low, gravelly voice cut through the cacophony. I doubt that very much, Bartholomew. Every head swiveled. Emerging from the dappled shade of a sprawling oak, slowly, deliberately, was Theodore Tortoise. He moved with the measured grace of a seasoned traveler, each step a testament to patient endurance. His shell, a mosaic of earthy browns and greens, bore the map of a long and deliberate life. Bartholomew's laughter erupted, a harsh, grating sound that echoed through the woods. Theodore. My dear old Theodore. Did I hear you correctly? Are you actually suggesting you could compete with my magnificent speed? He doubled over, clutching his sides, tears streaming down his face. Theodore remained unfazed. His ancient eyes, pools of quiet wisdom, met Bartholomew's mocking gaze. I propose a race, Bartholomew. From the whispering willow by the riverbank to the summit of Mount Cinder, silence descended upon the woods, thick and heavy. The creatures exchanged bewildered glances. A race between Bartholomew Hare and Theodore Tortoise? It was akin to suggesting a snail compete in the Grand Prix. Bartholomew, recovering from his paroxysm of laughter, wiped his eyes with a paw. You're serious? You, Theodore? Against me? This is beyond ridiculous. It's hilarious. But, fine, I accept. Just to prove how utterly futile your efforts are. Prepare to be humiliated. Theodore, utterly and completely humiliated. He punctuated his declaration with another burst of triumphant laughter. Fiona Fox, ever the pragmatist, stepped forward. Theodore, are you certain about this? Bartholomew is, well, his Bartholomew. Are you truly confident in your ability to persevere? Theodore offered a small, knowing smile. Confidence, Fiona, is not born of speed alone. It is forged in the crucible of perseverance, tempered by patience, and fueled by unwavering self-belief. I may be slow, but I am resolute. Bartholomew scoffed. Resolute in losing? Mark my words, Theodore, you'll be eating my dust from the starting line. We shall see, Theodore replied, his voice calm and unwavering. The race will commence at dawn tomorrow. May the best competitor prevail. The news spread through the whispering woods like wildfire. The unlikely contest between the arrogant hare and the steadfast tortoise captivated the attention of every creature, great and small. Speculation ran rampant. Some pitied Theodore, deeming his challenge foolish and misguided. Others admired his courage, his willingness to defy the odds. And a select few, those who understood the deeper currents of the woods, held a quiet hope that Theodore might just surprise them all. The dawn arrived, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold. A vast crowd had gathered at the Whispering Willow, buzzing with anticipation. Even the usually reclusive will-o'-wisp flickered into existence, drawn by the unusual spectacle. Old Man Badger, appointed as the official race starter, cleared his throat. Creatures of the Whispering Woods, let the race between Bartholomew Hare and Theodore Tortoise commence. On your marks, get set. Go! Bartholomew exploded off the line, a streak of brown lightning against the green canvas of the forest floor. He devoured the distance, his powerful legs propelling him forward with astonishing speed. The crowd gasped, a collective intake of breath as they witnessed the sheer force of his momentum. Theodore, meanwhile, took his first, deliberate step. Then another. And another. He moved with a slow, unwavering rhythm, a living embodiment of patience and persistence. Bartholomew, already a significant distance ahead, glanced back. He saw Theodore, a tiny speck in the distance, barely moving. A wave of amusement washed over him. This is even easier than I thought, he chuckled to himself. Poor Theodore. He doesn't stand a chance. He continued to race at blinding speed, leaving a trail of swirling leaves and bewildered squirrels in his wake. Within minutes, he had reached the midpoint of the course, a cluster of ancient, gnarled oak trees known as the Elder's Grove. He paused, catching his breath. He looked back again. Theodore was still far, far behind, barely visible on the horizon. This is ridiculous, Bartholomew muttered. I could take a nap and still win this race. Why not enjoy the scenery for a bit? Theodore won't be here for hours. He spotted a particularly inviting patch of soft moss nestled beneath the shade of an ancient oak. Perfect, he thought. A little rest will do me good. He stretched out, yawned expansively, and closed his eyes. The gentle rustling of leaves and the distant murmur of the river lulled him into a deep slumber. Meanwhile, Theodore continued his slow, steady progress. He didn't falter, didn't waver, didn't even glance back. He simply put one foot in front of the other, maintaining his unwavering rhythm. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor. The birds sang their midday melodies. And still, Theodore walked. He passed startled deer, who marveled at his unwavering determination. He navigated winding paths, his shell brushing against the undergrowth. He crossed babbling brooks, his small legs churning through the cool water. And with each step, he drew closer to his destination. Eventually, he reached the Elder's Grove. He saw Bartholomew, sprawled out beneath the oak tree, snoring softly. Theodore paused for a moment, observing his sleeping opponent. He felt a flicker of something akin to pity, but he quickly dismissed it. He had a race to finish. He continued on, his pace unwavering. He ascended the winding path that led towards Mount Cinder, the final, arduous leg of the journey. The climb was steep and challenging, but Theodore pressed on, his determination burning brighter than the midday sun. As the afternoon wore on, the animals gathered near the summit of Mount Cinder, their eyes fixed on the approaching figure. Word had spread that Theodore was gaining ground, that the unthinkable might actually be possible. "He's actually doing it," whispered Reginald Robin, his voice filled with awe. "I can't believe it," breathed Fiona Fox, her eyes wide with surprise. "He's actually going to win." Suddenly, a commotion erupted in the Elder's Grove. Bartholomew, jolted awake by a particularly loud woodpecker, blinked in confusion. He stretched, yawned, and then his eyes widened in horror. He saw Theodore, a small, determined figure, steadily ascending the slopes of Mount Cinder, nearing the summit. "No!" Bartholomew roared, scrambling to his feet. "This can't be happening." He launched into a frantic sprint, his legs pumping furiously. He tore through the forest, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He pushed himself to the limit, driven by a desperate need to salvage his pride. He reached the base of Mount Cinder and began the arduous climb, his muscles screaming in protest. He could see Theodore, just a few feet from the summit, his silhouette outlined against the setting sun. "I can still win," Bartholomew screamed, his voice cracking with desperation. "I can still beat him." He surged forward, summoning the last reserves of his energy. He leaped, reaching out a paw, desperate to touch the marker that signified victory. But it was too late. Theodore, with a final, Herculean effort, took the last step. His foot touched the marker. The crowd erupted in a thunderous roar of applause. Theodore Tortoise had won the race. Bartholomew collapsed to the ground, defeated and humiliated. He stared at Theodore, his eyes filled with disbelief. How did you do it?" he stammered. "You're so slow. I'm so much faster." Theodore approached Bartholomew, his expression gentle and understanding. "Speed, Bartholomew, is a gift. But it is not the only thing that matters. What truly matters is perseverance, patience, and unwavering belief in yourself. You may be faster than me, but you lacked the discipline to stay focused. You let arrogance cloud your judgment. I simply kept going, one step at a time, until I reached my goal." If you enjoyed this story and found it inspiring, do well to like this tale and subscribe for more interesting stories from the Whispering Woods and beyond.